All right, what you're seeing on my screen here is a video game I created with Gemini 2.5 Pro. And I'm using the canvas feature to show the game, to render it, as well as play the game in my browser. And it's a simple game. This is a ninja platformer. I throw shurikens at my enemies who come in here. If one of them touches me or throws something at me, I lose. Oh, there you go. I lost a life. The purple one hit me twice, and I have 3 lives. And every time I kill one of them, I can evade, or I can kill them. Oh, and if they hit me and kill all my lives, the game is over. And so this is a really cool example of vibe coding, where I didn't code any of this stuff. I simply asked Gemini Pro to write the code for me, and it also rendered the code in the same browser inside the Gemini app. So if you go to gemini.google.com, you'll be able to do this yourself. And the purpose of this video is to show you how you can sort of build these little games. But if you're thinking, oh, well, I don't play games, I don't care about building games. Well, this is really a preview of what's coming. Because a game is really just a piece of software. And so if you can create a game, you can create any piece of software you need. So if you need a custom piece of software to track your food, your calories, if you need something to track your workouts, if you run a business and you need a CRM, this is the way you can do it in the future without having to pay $10, $20, $50 a month, 100 maybe even. Some CRMs can be a lot more expensive. And so instead of having to pay dozens of SaaS subscriptions every month, you could just ask Gemini to code it, and you can see the result of the code in the same browser. And once you're satisfied, you can just deploy that online and use it for yourself. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step how to use Gemini 2.5 Pro plus the canvas feature to create code, to generate code, to tweak the code using just natural language and instructions, and to test it out and get it to a space where you're happy with it, that you can just use it on your own later on. Let's begin. So the first thing you want to do is start a new chat, and this is what the new chat screen looks like. It's gemini.google.com. You want to select Gemini 2.5 Pro here, which is what I'm on, 2.5 Pro Experimental. And you'll see a little feature here called Canvas, and you want to select that feature as well. And so what that does is when you ask it to generate code, it not only generates the code, it actually runs the code on the browser in a little sidebar called the canvas. So I'm going to start with a very simple instruction. All I'm going to do is ask it to create a little game like the one you saw earlier. Create a 2D side-scrolling game similar to Mario. Except in this case, I want it to be a ninja game set in Japan. I'm using a tool called Whisperflow just to speak. So to see the full actual process, all I'm doing is just speaking to the computer, and the computer is generating things for me. So here we go. Initial instruction here. And now I wouldn't suggest you do such a basic instruction. If you have a concept in mind that you want to create, in this example, I'm using a game. If you have a certain type of game that you want to create, I suggest you describe the game very carefully, break it out. You could say, I want the character to be this kind. I want there to be 3 different types of enemies. I want the background to look like this. I want the character to be able to do XYZ thing. And it will actually do all of that. But by doing this simple prompt, I want to show you how Gemini goes about building it from a very basic prompt as well. So if you can see here, it says show thinking. So Gemini is actually reasoning. It's a reasoning model, and it's taking your prompt and going, all right, what does this person actually want? And it's building out a plan. And it's saying, okay, there's some logic, there's this, there's that, and there you go. It creates the full game, and you can see the code here on the little canvas. So this little box on the right-hand side is the canvas. I can close it, and I can open it again. And the preview shows the actual game. So here I can use the arrows up and down to move, and there you go. Now, right off the bat, I've noticed that there's some mistakes. First of all, there's some weird stuff going around with the background. Secondly, the instructions are hanging onto the screen, and so I can't see my little ninja. Third, my ninja seems to be stuck in the air here. And fourth, that's all it does. It just moves. So you can't, there are no enemies, it doesn't attack. So now what I want to do is I want to take this feedback and I want to give this to Gemini and say, hey, can you improve it, right? So here are some things to improve. One, I want my ninja to be able to attack by throwing a shuriken. I also want there to be enemies coming in from both directions. And there's something wrong with the background. The mountains seem to be flickering. And the fourth thing is the instructions are stuck to the game screen. So everything is behind the instructions. Can you please remove those? I'm just basically describing what I see in plain English, and I'm going to have Gemini tackle all of these issues. So again, Gemini is thinking. You can see if you click here, you say show thinking, boom, it shows you the full thinking. It says, okay, he wants to attack. There needs to be a shuriken attack. Let's add some enemies. So this creates a new enemy class, and so on and so forth. And so in the background over here, it's actually rewriting all of this code. As you can see here, it's generating the code. I'm scrolling down as it generates the code, and it's really fast. One of the things I love about Gemini 2.5 Pro, aside from the fact that it is the best language model out there right now, beating all of the others on various benchmarks and scores, is it is incredibly fast. It's $0. I think it's free. I'm using this for free, so I don't know. I don't recall putting my credit card down there, and I definitely don't get any bills from Google. So it's free. And then the context window is much larger, so it can take in a context of 1 million tokens, and that means you can create a lot longer, lot more complex flows, games, code, software, and it holds that in its working memory, and it's more accurate when it actually generates stuff. There we go. And now it's fixed a bunch of things. So as you can see here, there we go. Oh, I got hit by an enemy. Okay, so there's got to be an attack move. If I press the X key, there we go. And I can hit enemies, and there we go. So my basic game is already working. And there are some enemies. There's my ninja, and I can keep building on this. And so this core loop, kind of like in video games, you have this game loop where you have your character, and your character attacks or kills enemies and gets XP and gets stronger, and then gets new powers and kills harder enemies. The core loop for coding with a language model, an AI model, is to give it your initial instruction, have it figure out the gaps on its own and do what it thinks is best practices, and then give it feedback, like test it out, look at what you need, give it feedback. If you're just not happy with it, you can start from scratch again. You've lost a couple of minutes at best, and be very specific about what you want, and keep just testing out what it gives you and give it feedback. And the reason I'm using Gemini here, there are many other platforms to do this. There's Replit, there's Lovable, there are IDEs like Cursor and Windsurf, but because of the Canvas feature in Gemini, I can immediately see the code, and I don't have to download the code onto my computer. I don't need libraries to run it, all of that kind of stuff. I'm just looking at it right here. I tell it, give it instructions, it generates the code, it shows up in my window, I test it, I give it more. And this tight feedback loop allows me to create an entire app, product, game within minutes that is exactly what I want. Another thing we can do is, because Gemini 2.5 Pro is a reasoning model, we can actually ask it to give us suggestions. And so again, it will reason, it will think about it, and it understands best practices for building software, games, and so on. And it's going to say, all right, here are some suggestions. And so it's opened up, you can see here, it's opened up a new canvas. So this is a Word document canvas. I can actually export it to docs. And interesting thing about this, I can export this to docs, but the game that I generated, I can't export to Google Cloud platform, which I think would be a very smart move by Google to do. If I could generate an app or a game here, and once I'm satisfied, click a button to deploy it onto the cloud on a Google server, then that's amazing, right? One click, boom, I'm done. I can use this product anywhere, anytime, right? Anyway, going back to this, a whole bunch of improvements here. And so we can say, I can just copy these and say, let's go add this, right? And it's going to add that to the game. It's going to start adding background music to the game. And there you go. Oh, I got killed instantly. All right. Well, you can hear, wow. You can hear, I'm really bad at this game apparently. You can hear the sound effects. Boop, boop. Okay, so there you go. So it used a library called tone.js. It added in sound effects, and that's it, right? So you can even ask it for suggestions and then use its own suggestions to add it in. You can customize the suggestions. If you have a better idea, throw that in there. But hopefully I showed you just how easy it is to get started, right? And I know like there's a lot of talk about vibe coding or using AI to code and all of that kind of stuff. But the fact is the word coding can sometimes scare people because it implies requiring knowing how to code or writing code. Whereas the fact is I haven't touched code at all, not even once in this entire video. You've seen me just speak to the computer and the computer delivers, right? The AI delivers exactly what I want and even gives me new suggestions. So get started. Go to gemini.google.com. It is free. Use Gemini 2.5 Pro, use the Canvas tool and start building something. If you don't want to build a game, but you have a certain idea for a product, or in your life you have certain requirements, or let's say you're spending $20 a month to track your workouts and you don't want to do that, you want something for free, code it in, right? If you're a business owner, you're spending $30 a month for a CRM and you don't need all the features, you just need something to track your deals, have Gemini do it for you. I'm actually going to create a video about this on how to build useful business tools with Gemini, with AI, how to vibe code it into existence to actually use in your existing business. So if you're interested in that, watch out. I'm going to do that. I'm going to release that video in the next couple of days. So subscribe. And if you have any specific ideas you want to see me build, comment below, let me know. I can do it for you. I do suggest you go try it out yourself. But if you're still hesitant to get started, it is actually really simple to get started. So I really implore you to get started. But if you're hesitating and if you want to see a few more examples, you're not quite sure what can be done, let me know in the comments and I'll do it for you. Thanks for watching.